Coming to you from the all-new Live House in Hollywood, California.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Pensado's Place. Our guest is from the hot reggae punk band Sublime with Rome. You're going to meet Rome in just a second. But first, we've got this week's 3 winners in the Warm Summer Audio Giveaway. That's the contest where you get to choose one of Warm Audio's 4 condenser mics. And one of these babies was just featured on the cover of Sound on Sound. They really are fantastic tools. You can see it right there. And here are your winners. They are Raven Hagan from Houston, David Jones from London, and Morgan Pirtle from Chicago. Yay, congratulations, guys. So for the rest of you, you got one more week to enter. That's 3 winners, so get cracking. Here's how you do it. Go to warmaudio.com/warm-summer-giveaway. That's warmaudio.com/warm-summer-giveaway. Put in your info and be ready to pick either the 87 14 47 Junior FET or 84 small diaphragm mic. All great condenser mics as your grand prize. And we want to thank the good folks at Warm Audio. Also, do us a big favor. Dave and I would love you to join our family by signing up for our newsletter. Yeah. Hit like and subscribe and click notify, and we thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Before we meet our guest, Dave, you're back from France and mixed with the Masters. How was it?
It was great. The thing I liked the most was the camaraderie that Timbaland and Jason and I had informed with the students. Mm-hmm. We went there as strangers and we left as a little bit of a family. We're still keeping up together. A lot of cheese, ate a lot of cheese. Mm. The cheese was spectacular.
Did you learn any French?
French?
Yeah.
I learned croissant.
Okay, good.
And fromage.
Okay, good.
But we were treated like royalty. The facility is about 200 years old. Napoleon actually had his soldiers, the dye for his soldiers' red pants made there, and there's some 1,000-year-old Roman ruins. So it was really cool. I learned a lot from Jason. I knew Jason was gifted, but he just took my opinion of him to another level. Timbaland was fun. I wouldn't call it a vacation because I came back more tired than when I left. But I'm glad I went. It was something I'll cherish for a while. Cool. Particularly staying in touch with the students. It was great.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, we've got a very special guest. He heads up Sublime with Rome, and we are pleased to have Rome with us today. Welcome, man.
Good to see you, my friend.
You just off the road?
Yes, sir. Off a 10-week stretch, and now we're just doing weekend dates until like the year 2050.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So when you're not doing weekend dates, are you doing, how many days a week are you doing?
So typically we'll go out on like a Thursday, play a show Friday, play a show Saturday, and come home on Sunday.
Okay.
Or we'll fly out on Friday, play a show Saturday, come home Sunday.
Got it.
So which is rad because you're able to, be at home, get some shit done.
Absolutely.
And then hang out with your buds and go play some music.
And touring bands always fascinating me because particularly in this environment, because in some cases it is your principal income, you know, music from, the music, money from the music you make sometimes is there, sometimes isn't. But on the creative side, and I think on the last album, didn't you write everything?
I always
You're the writer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does being on the road translate into your songs or things that you pick up or ideas, or it's the experience of how you want your music to sound? Does the road inform that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean...
In what ways?
Well, when I was a kid, I got on an airplane once when I was like 8 years old. And I went to San Diego to see my family. And then after that, the next time I was ever on an airplane was with Sublime going to like Europe to play a show, festival, or South America, sorry. So for me, it was just a tremendous opportunity to be able to meet so many different people in different walks of life, which helped me kind of get outside of my bubble and just kind of soak up how other people lived, what they listened to, what they wore, what they talk like just really taking that in and not trying to push it away, really being open to it, and because of that, man, I've learned so much about music, so much about relationships, so much about just like life in general, you know? So it's
because it's a unique view, right? I mean, when you're traveling, there's a component to it. When you're chilling, there's a component to it. When you're on stage, feeling that stuff back, right?
It's fully...
And it's just information download,
You're like me and Dave are kind of talking about in the green room, commit. Full commitment. You have to be, if you're going to choose the life on the road, you know, as we always joke around, like a sailor's life, you know, you have to really commit to that. Yeah. Because it's a way of thinking. It's like a framework almost.
And it's a grind too, right? Like, people think
of course.
It's all just
I mean, and we got it, like, do not get it twisted. We, you know, because of the love of the fans, like we travel in beautiful buses, you know, and sometimes get to be able to bring our loved ones out and our dogs and stuff. But there's nothing that really can ever substitute the time that you spend like with or away from your loved ones. Right. And that, you know, you could be riding in a jet. Right. And still be missing your kids.
Absolutely.
You know?
When you first got into Sublime, you had to make a decision. Are you gonna try and take up where Bradley left off, or are you gonna start where Rome takes over? And how did you navigate that? I'm sure it was pretty tough for you, you know?
Well, you know, the truth is I've been such a diehard fan of Sublime since I was a kid. They were literally like the first band that I ever was introduced to that just
first guitar part you ever played?
First guitar part, like everything came from Sublime. So for me, it's always been an integrity thing. I've always just wanted to just give it my best, 100%. And with, you know, getting to know Eric 3 years prior to even joining the band, he just always kind of recited to me, and just kind of knowing him and picking it up as well has always just been like, you know, just do your own thing and just have fun. And, you know, I kind of took that as like, I'll let you know when you take shit too far or when you need to step it up. But, you know, just do your thing, you know, and
You did a great job. You honored the past, but you created a new future. That's
well, we're always listening to like a lot of different stuff. Like right now, Eric, the bass player, he's really into like EDM right now. Really into like dubstep, really into like
reggae dubstep,
production kind of stuff, which is kind of crazy because if you hear songs like Blackout and stuff, like a lot of those elements are like his idea. Like, yo, we should throw some like programmed drums right here and stuff. And it's like,
I love Blackout's one of my favorite. I love Wicked Heart too. That's another one of my favorite.
Thank you.
As the principal writer and so on and so forth, guitar, when you write, what do you write to? Do you use your guitar to write?
Typically guitar, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, piano songs always make me write sad stuff.
And then, on the last record,
always make me write sad stuff. Sorry, Herb. Why? Because you only play black keys or something?
No, I just like.
Hey, what's wrong with the black keys?
It's the sustain from the notes.
It's like an E flat. It's like
not even like
sound.
I can, because like you could throw on like some old like Gershwin that sounds, it's predominantly major, but it'll still kind of give off the vibes of something somber. And a lot of that I feel has to do with resonance from the instrument. And
it's hard to wear around your neck too.
For me specifically, like when I just sit down at the piano, before I even hit a note, I'm already in a very emotional state. So it's like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing, I think.
I think I understand.
So if you take that process and the band, the trio, and then you put in a Rob Cavallo, I would imagine chemistry's got to be super critical for you in terms of the writer expressing your point of view. Yes?
Yeah, 100%. Like I kind of said earlier, like I've always been really hands-on in the production, any of the programming and stuff, or the arrangement. And we've worked really closely with Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers, which is an incredible producer. And so for me to work with Rob Cavallo, it was not only something extremely different for me, but also a huge opportunity to learn some shit. So I was like, this is like crazy. He actually heard Wicked Heart, and that was, you know, he was like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're about to, you know, go in and do a record. He's like, who's producing it? We're like, you?
Right, yeah.
You down? And he's like, I love that song. Send me some more stuff. So we sent him some more stuff, and he's like, I'm down. Doug McKean, which is his right-hand man, just a insane, engineer and mixer. Yeah, that was the song that really kind of like got him down to go in the studio. And the cool thing about this last record, Blessings, was that I had no time frame to make the record. So I had been kind of like just writing songs and not really expecting to go in the studio and like have to put out a song and go to radio this summer, that whole cycle. So it was really awesome to just write and just write for writing. I'd gotten, I'd had my first child during that time. Moved out to Los Angeles, so all, was
big change.
Just got married, all these like crazy things. And all the songs were written ahead of time. So when it came down to recording the album, it was just about making it sound as awesome as it can be. And Rob Cavallo and Doug are just the guys who are responsible for that. Just making that record sound like just really big.
How did Centuria come about? That's one of my favorites.
You know what's funny? Santeria, the music was actually written by Eric, the bass player. Eric Wilson. It's a song. It's an instrumental dub song on their record Robin the Hood, and it's called Lincoln Highway Dub. And it's just the full music background of Santeria. And then when it came to the self-titled, if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of like it was a difficult time to get the guys' focus to put together their big major label album. So they were pulling songs from all kinds of different spots, and one of those songs was Lincoln Highway Dub, which was an instrumental. And I think Bradley was, he heard it or something. He was like, I'm going to write a song to it. And he wrote Santeria.
So if you get a chance, go online and look up the song. There's a video. And in the video, this is the guitar player that comes on and plays this amazing solo. You know what I'm talking about, right? Post Malone.
Oh, dude.
I couldn't believe it.
To be either. That was so crazy.
He killed it.
We did, so we did not rehearse any of that stuff.
He just walked up on stage and took your guitar and started playing the solo.
Yeah, he says like, yo, I'm going to play Santeria with you if you're down. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, the solo too? He's like, if you're down. He said, fuck yeah. And I'm like, shit, let's go. And man, it sounded awesome. He like killed it.
So you just did a show with him August 5th, I think, right?
Yeah, Post is great, man.
How was that?
He's like a real rock star. He's very, very knowledgeable in music. He's got great, musical references. Like me and him were jamming like Coheed and Nirvana.
Wow.
Prior to like doing this stuff. So it's like, he's a really musical dude and really positive, and, he works with geniuses like Louis Bell, so it's like.
We had him on the show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
when you meet a guy like Post Malone, like Post, like you see why he's on top of the world. Because of his energy.
He's got an incredible knowledge of country music too. Let's talk about you.
Yeah. No, dude, it's all love. All these guys, man.
Well, in fact, let me go to career strategy for a second and see if you give this advice to our audience. So would you advise the other artists that are in our audience to marry their manager's daughter as a way of moving forward?
Not out the gate, no.
Not out
I would say that's a terrible way to do it.
And then,
100%.
You've turned it into an art form. So.
Dude, you know what's crazy? This is really, really weird, but my heart has always kind of like led me to like these things, I was with a girl in the Bay Area that was really just kind of like bringing me down, and I knew that I had to get away from her. So it was like chase this dream that I put off, which was coming down to LA, becoming an audio engineer, working my way up the steps. And I needed to get away from her, so I left. And I came down here, and I just wanted to be a Swiss Army knife and just be able to apply value to anyone great who needed it. And through that, I met another girl who introduced me to a studio that I later started working at, who introduced me to the bass player to Sublime, which then changed my life.
Absolutely.
And then through the band, I met my wife. And, you know, so it's like this weird, and honestly, I never really connected that until right now he said that. Because it's like, you know, because I'm sitting here at MI, I'm sitting here, and, you know, it is bringing back full circle. I'm a huge fan of you guys, and I've been watching Pensado's play since the very beginning. So.
And that is flattering to hear. One of the things I think is really cool is I think our guests who have achieved success have never lost the balance of sort of taking their technical side and their vision of music, but attaching it to their heart.
Yeah, man.
Attaching it to their humanity. And
that's the important part.
Is it, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, you can get really lost in like the data and strategy part of this, especially now with online. Like when I was a kid, like we had like, when I got the internet, my life changed. I loved it, man. I was able to download all these plugins and learn how to record. And then YouTube wasn't invented yet, but I was able to download books to learn how to use compression and EQ and stuff like that, which didn't do anything. I had to just figure it out, you know how it goes. But today you can really get lost in like a web of like videos and gurus and books and subscriptions and Patreons and put together your whole plan and have the album cover and the track list and everything, but it never come out. You never make the beat. You never start your channel.
Absolutely.
And you know, I just always been kind of brought up under just, you know, the way my mom and dad raised me were just like, get shit done, do it.
Results.
You know, study, of course, try your best, but adjust as it goes, you know, like.
What do you think the universal appeal of reggae is? It's somewhat of a limiting form, but yet it's an expansive form. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, dude.
There's something magical about that tempo. I can't put my foot on it. Or maybe my finger on it.
It's the rhythm. It's the two. It's like
it's the and.
pop
it's
and
that one and two.
It's everything's on the two. So it's like, it just feels so good. Yeah, it's on the and. I don't know, like, you could take any song and put it on the two, on reggae, and it feels good. It sounds good.
In an odd way, that's what dubstep is. It's the wow, wow, wow. It emphasizes the two in a weird way.
Which is a very
that was a Skrillex song, in case you didn't know it.
No. Okay, how can I not know it? You did it so perfectly. I was going to say, the thing about reggae that I think is interesting is that it is universal. Like it just doesn't have, you can attach anything to it. And it generally feels happy in some ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's powerful. And you can go dark.
Oh, it's dark.
But
some of the best stuff.
But it's got some energy that's mostly up in the rhythm.
Absolutely.
Now, what else you do with it is
which is what I've always thought. And, you know, that's a good point because I think is a huge contributing factor to why it is so universal. Is because you're kind of able to mask so many different things, so many different emotions behind reggae, but still kind of be able to make it feel positive
do you think
or negative or you know, dark.
Do you think that's contributed to your longevity?
I mean, for me personally, reggae started everything for me. Like, I fell in love with Bob Marley, and I was just like, I love Bob Marley. This is great. I love Peter Tosh. Like, I was a kid. I just reacted to their music more so. But I didn't become fanatical until Sublime. And Sublime encompassed all of that. It encompassed, you know, the upbeat skank of like ska music, but then it also covered like the dark side of like, you know, the minor reggae, like that Studio One, King Tubby kind of sound, like, you know, and then, you know, it just encompassed like a lot of different genres really, but reggae specifically has been something for me that has just spoken to me at a very young age, even probably before I could even express that.
Do you think Sublime will ever go back to its punk roots more?
You know,
I'd like to see punk reggae, you know, be a genre, you know.
Honestly, like it is still, and it's always still like expanding, you know. Like, I mean, you could look right now and find like bands like The Fever, 333, you know, who are like keeping like the harder edge. But I mean, you go listen back to like some like Ski Mask Slump God or like, XXX Tentacion. It's like, that's like punk on there.
Yeah.
It's like, so like, I don't think punk has necessarily gone anywhere. And as far as like the band goes, I think finding like traditional ways of doing that is like kind of like the really interesting way for Eric. Because he's still very much in like, as I am as well, like the best kind of punk, it did have a shelf. And it was a time, it was a place, it was a sound, not a particularly good one, often recorded but it worked because it had emotion. Right now would be a great time for a punk band,
all the stuff
but I'm like,
There's a little band in town I like. They're called Fiddler. I like them a lot. 40 on repeat. Listen to that song. It's one of my favorite songs. 40 on repeat. Fiddler.
I like that.
FIDLER. I wish I could mix for them.
From a gear standpoint, what are your go-tos? What kind of stuff?
Okay, so
I heard you talk about a guitar.
Guitar was I'm Stratocaster. That's typically my guitar live. I mean, that is my guitar live. I wanted a Fender since I was a kid, and then when I joined Sublime, they were kind enough to give me some guitars, and I've never looked back. I'm a really easy, sponsoree too, because I never hit them up. But yeah, man, Fender. I've been using them forever, and I use a Kemper now. Sure, like SM57 on the road, probably some like wireless thing. In the studio, I love my Manley. I actually just got the WA-47.
What do you think about their stuff?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I've been using the 1176 for a while.
Yeah, we like them too.
I love them. Not just their equipment, but as people, as a company, everything. They have it all.
Sweethearts, aren't they?
Yeah.
I use a series of different outboard, but for conversion, I use the like head. Anything that Dave Hill makes, I'm a huge fan of. So.
I love Dave Hill.
Great guys.
There's a studio in Texas, world famous, Sonic Ranch.
Oh yeah.
Explain a little bit about Sonic Ranch, because they're kind of like the new modern. I hate to say this because I know I'm going to get creamed online, but they kind of remind me of a newer version of Muscle Shoals,
Totally.
And explain why you went there and describe the process.
So Sonic Ranch is special specifically because of Tony, the owner, Tony Rancic. He's he's just a real art appreciator and a very, very just gifted, open-minded kind of guy. This place is beautiful. They're constantly opening up new studios. So let me circle back. Sonic Ranch is located about less than a mile from the border of Juarez, dangerous city in Mexico. But you would never know because it's built around this beautiful hacienda with about 8 studios now. They're constantly building new ones. And yeah, I mean, the relics from all over the world, original EMI consoles, West Motown Neve boards, Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar, serial number 2 on the twin reverbs. And they have a full-on staff that does your laundry and cooks you breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, that's why you went.
And you're in the middle of nowhere. You're about an hour away from a McDonald's or a liquor store.
Nice.
So you got to load up on your booze and your food, but you don't need food because they'll cook for you, but you still want a water.
But you went there to get that analog sound.
Yeah, man, the analog sound, and honestly, to just get away from everything.
Leon Bridges did his record there.
Yeahs do stuff. Karen O is constantly out there. I've ran into Vance Powell a bunch of times out there and just got to pick his brain a bunch. He's a genius in his own right as well.
Absolutely right.
But it's definitely a very special place, and everybody that I have referred to that have gone there has been back since. Like they love it.
Let me ask you a question before we tee up Batter's Box, because you got to knock his block off with Batter's Box.
Oh man, I can try.
Oh, you can do it. I find that this is a ripe time for artists to make a statement if they choose to. Oftentimes in history, when there were overt political times, there was an opportunity to. Do you guys ever feel the need to, or you just follow your heart in terms of messaging in your songs, or does making a political statement? There was oftentimes rebellious punk bands would make big statements. Is that a Sublime with Rome kind
I mean,
of thing?
honestly, for me, lyrically, I've always taken it for more so the effect it's had on me, and then calling out like more so than the individual. Because what I want to do is, you know, last thing anyone should do is contributing to more of the divide.
Right.
You know? Right. So we definitely don't need to divide the audience, but there's a way, how I feel is there's a way to communicate the effects of bad politics or bad leadership. Or even just bad example if you're talking about the people who we make famous.
Right.
Instead of necessarily like alienating somebody, talking about the effects and then talking about how to overcome that can sometimes be even more effective.
So rather than a direct shot, it's about which
is kind of how I kind of write songs, you know, like a lot of the songs that I write come from a place of leaving a dysfunctional childhood and then getting into like a, hey, if I can fucking make it, so can you. Kind of place.
You know, one of the great things about this is the manager side of me. So, shout out to Zach and the rest of your
Thank
team.
You.
One of the things about frontmen is that they generally are who you meet them to be, even when they're not on stage.
And for better or for worse.
Which is exactly what you are. Which is what I really like.
That's true. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You can't. It's hard to put on a persona and be a front person. It's got to be coming from a place that's part of who you are, right?
Gotta be committed.
Yeah. I mean, you can put some sprinkle on it, but if the roots aren't there, you know.
Especially now, man, like, so if it takes 10,000 hours to be professional, then I'd like to think that the people aren't dumb.
Right.
You know, they smell bullshit.
Oh, 100%.
Whether it's like a label plant band or,
100%.
You know, a politician or something.
Yeah, I recently had, this was like 2 days ago, I had somebody take apart our show and why it works. It was just so interesting to hear their observations.
That's awesome.
And it was
it's hard to do.
Well, they were pretty correct.
That was right before I got fired, right?
Well, it was why you got fired. But it had a lot to do with authenticity and honesty and being able to, which is, you know, nice to hear. But even better to hear is going to be Batter's Box.
Oh, man.
So are you ready? I'm
I
sure.
hope.
No, you're good.
I hope. I was like, man, what's he even throwing me?
All right.
Okay.
DP, let's go.
One word, quick. Melody.
Stevie Wonder.
Microphones.
Manly.
Collaborations.
DJ Henry Fong.
Love it.
Lyrics.
That's a good answer.
You stumped me on that one.
Well,
okay.
Is your answer.
I'll take that answer. Headphones.
Audio-Technica.
Auto-tune.
Melodyne.
Reverb.
EMT 250.
I own one. Guitar pedals.
Ooh, Klon.
Oh, wow. He's good, Herm. What's the cheapest piece of gear you've used on a record?
I got some cheap gear. I'm gonna probably say
there were so many.
I got some cheap gear. I'm gonna go ahead and say probably this DOD pedal. I have a DOD grunge pedal.
Oh, those sound good.
Yeah, they're cheap. I've had it since I was a kid. It was like $38.
In that video we saw, what was playing through? It was the Kemper, but what was the distortion sound? Was it?
Oh, that's an actual IR from a Divided by 13. Shout out to Fred.
I love those amps.
Oh, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yeah.
He's working on this new circuit for bass. It's like
that's one of my favorites. Well, so I got beat.
I won.
I thought we were friends. I thought we bonded. I thought like the guitar, you know, you can play guitar. I know what one is.
That's part of the charm. They woo you into believing you're friends.
They'll buy our record.
I got you. Yeah. You're on tour soon, October 1st, back out, right?
Back on the fall run.
Right.
Dropping more videos.
Yeah.
All kinds of good stuff. Getting ready to, we're putting together a really fat next summer tour too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Invite us to a show.
You guys are more than welcome.
We'd love to come see you.
Of course.
Maybe catch you backstage and
absolutely
catch the band and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We're fans. I'm even more of a fan now after meeting you and spending some time.
Thank you.
Thanks for the support of the show.
Absolutely.
Will you come back?
It'd be an honor.
And it'd be an honor to have you,
It'd be an honor.
DP, take us home.
Sometimes as humans, we get really accustomed to doing things one particular way. And when someone with the magnitude of Bradley was replaced and Rome had to fill those shoes, I can't imagine what it was like. But the thing that I like about what he did is he didn't try to replace anyone. He just tried to go in as himself. And so the band is as popular as ever and doing really well, not because he tried to be somebody else, but because he tried to be a better person of himself and inspire the people that were in the band. So kudos to you, because I know you got flamed a little bit for some of that stuff, but you made it through. And I think that's something to look up to. So we'll see you next week.